Hello, I'm the Who Guy and welcome back to another video, and today we have another late review of Doctor Who episodes. I apologise for this one again. Hopefully Boom will be out tomorrow and you guys can watch that as soon as it comes out. So yeah, I do apologise for this review for being very late. I've been very ill, so that's why it was late basically, and yeah, I can only apologise. If you are new to the channel, make sure to like the video and subscribe down below, as well as click up there, I believe it will be, for a Doctor Who giveaway that I'm giving away for 200 subscribers, so make sure to click up there and enter that one. So today we are reviewing The Devil's Chord. So I'm going to go through the good, the bad, and then my overall opinion on the episode. So getting straight into some of the positive things that I can say about this episode. Not saying this episode is very negative, however, some positives that I can take from this episode are definitely the set design and costume department. This episode looks amazing, whether that's the CGI of the kind of musical notes or whether that's just the costumes. The Doctor's, Ruby's, even Maestro's costume in this episode looked amazing. The whole time period with the Beatles as well as Cilla Black and all of that kind of Abbey Road scenery and inside the studios itself looked absolutely on point, and I was really pleased of how well it was presented within the episode.
You beauty.
In real depth to make sure this episode felt like the time period, and of course we got that note back all the way back to 1963, who's beginning with the kind of Susan mention. That was pretty cool in the episode to get that kind of Susan mention. Is Susan coming back? We don't know. Another thing about this episode, of course, we saw Susan twist again. What does it mean? I have no idea. Is she Ruby? Is she Ruby's mum? Is she something else? Is she the one that waits? It's very interesting. We've seen her in multiple episodes now, including the previous episode, and I do believe she has a role in Boom as well. So are we going to find out who she is? Probably not until the finale. And she's probably going to be the big bad of the whole season. Or is she actually Susan? Susan Twist could be Susan, his granddaughter. That would just be mind blown if that happens. I would kind of like to see the old actor portray Susan, but we'll see. As well, of course, this episode is primarily based on music, and I thought the music throughout, Murray Gold has done a fantastic job. Whether that was the stupid crappy songs at the start with the Beatles having no rhythm in that dog song, with the Cilla Black song as well, and just the whole Maestro music. When Maestro was about, you had that kind of evil music playing, just really cool. And even the opening scene was quite horrifying with the kind of notes getting pulled out, and the way that portrayed I thought was absolutely amazing. So I've got to give Murray Gold his props, and oh my word, we saw Murray Gold in the episode. That's got to be one of my favourite moments of this episode. I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my god, I had to pause and rewind just to make sure it was Murray Gold, and it was. So that is awesome. Very happy. Also, multiple cameos in this special. We had some Strictly Come Dancing stars in the episode as well, which I thought was quite fitting, especially at the end with the musical number. Talking about that musical number, really did enjoy it. It was a lot of fun, a nice twist, you could say, to the end of the episode. And everything seems to be tying in with, you know, Susan twist at the end, you know, just seems to be a bit too convenient that all these things are happening. So I'm assuming Susan Twist is going to have this massive effect within the series, and again this episode shows that. You also had that boy at the start, which seems to be linked to the toy maker. He did like the toy maker references in this episode, but we had that boy that seems to be linked to Maestro as well. So, and he is still there. We saw him close the door and have a little peek, so he's going to be back somewhere sometime in this season, I would assume, or maybe in later seasons, maybe not appearing as the boy but as an entirely different appearance. Again, with this second episode, that it was a lot of fun. There wasn't a point in the episode where I was bored, I can give it that, but there were a couple of gripes that I have with the episode, which we'll get into now, which is the bad. So starting with the bad, I've got to say it, it's my personal opinion, but I didn't actually like Jinx Monsoon. I felt the character to be very annoying, Maestro. I know that was kind of supposed to be the character. I know the Master as well is sometimes like that annoying, full-on kind of Joker-esque character. However, this one just seemed to tip over the edge just that little too much, kind of dipping into the pantomime kind of world, if that makes sense. And I don't know, it's just not for me. I think there's going to be loads of people out there that like that kind of stuff. For me, in Doctor Who, I don't really want to see it again. I don't mind the one-off here with Maestro, however, it's not something I really want to see again. Monsoon's character just got on my nerves. I don't really know how to say it politely, really. Just, I wasn't a great fan of it, and that's my opinion. You guys will probably have a different one. It's probably just me. I just felt there was moments where they didn't need to be over the top, and they were. So there's things like that I wasn't keen on, and it really took me out of the episode as well. I feel like Doctor Who, but I guess that's what Russell wants to do now. Give Jinx Monsoon props though, because I bet her character was actually supposed to be like this, and played it very, very well. I've got to say, a fantastic performance by Jinx Monsoon. Just, however, my liking of a Doctor Who villain didn't really tick any boxes for me. So very surprised that the Beatles weren't in this episode as much as I thought, with the trailers and the posters and like the featurettes in Doctor Who magazine. I thought they would be a bigger key character, and yes, they were the reason Maestro was captured in the end. However, I just felt like they were in it at the start, and then they weren't in it, and then they just appeared again at the end, and it just felt like a waste. Kind of like a waste of the Beatles. Obviously, we didn't have any Beatles music actually in the episode, which I think is a big miss. I know there's a lot of licensing deals to do with that, but they've had songs before. Doctor Who couldn't get the Beatles song. Just one would have been pretty epic if we could have had that. A lot of people online saying that the Beatles didn't look like each other. I've said this before in magazine review. I personally don't mind it. I think they looked pretty cool in the episode, and like I said, I was really happy of how well the Beatles were portrayed throughout this episode. I just wanted more, that's all. Just wanted more Beatles.
And there's music. Always music.
Of course, we get the Ruby mystery, again heightened to 11, with there's songs stuck in you right deep down. Again, I've said this in the previous review. If you haven't checked that out, make sure you do so. I'm not a great fan of the companion being this massive mystery and big problem, and it looks like Ruby's going to be this, unfortunately. It gives me vibes again of Clara and Amy being this kind of mystery box, those vibes, and I don't really want to see it again. I'm bored of it. I know it hasn't happened for a while, but Clara was quite recent. I want a fresh take on the companion, and it just feels like we're rehashing the same thing. I think the Doctor and Ruby in this episode were fantastic and bunches of fun, especially that kind of dance where they came out of the TARDIS in their new attire. I thought that was really cool on the kind of Abbey Road crossing. But yeah, just I'm a fan of Ruby, just not that part of making her a big mystery box again. I'm done with that. New ideas, please. Saying that, you bring a new villain like Maestro and I didn't like it, so I'm quite a hypocrite. Finally, rounding off the bad for this episode, and it's a real nitpick kind of thing. Why is the Sonic changing colour? Like, the Sonic's not even a Sonic anymore, it's a Sky Remote, but we won't get into that. We'll get into that in a different video. Why is it changing colours? I liked it blue. I didn't like it full stop. Let me just say that. But blue, and then, oh no, let's just make it pinkish red for this episode. Character options. Oh, they're going to make a lot of money. A lot of money. Character won't give us new, fresh figures or anything like that. They're just going to give us repaints of the Sonic. I buy them all because I'm stupid.
You will die stupid.
Overall, what did I think about this episode? I think it was loud, fun, but hectic. I think, again, this episode felt like there wasn't much time to breathe, just like the previous episode. However, it just seemed that little bit over the top for me for Doctor Who. Again, I don't want to see it again, but it feels like we've had two big episodes now, the first and second, that have been quite full on, this one especially, and now we've got Boom with Stephen Moffat, so I'm hoping that one's a bit toned down in the kind of craziness of it all. And yeah, overall, it was an okay episode. I don't hate it. I had a lot of fun, like I said, with the episode. I think that's going to be a lot about this series. There's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of things I don't like or disagree with, and a lot of things I do love and agree with. But I'm going to have fun at the end of the day. I think Russell writes his episodes to the end of the day for people to enjoy, and I did enjoy myself. So I'm going to give this episode a rating of 6 out of 10. So just marginally lower than Space Babies. I think I preferred Space Babies, to be honest. I think if you look at other people's reviews, I think they prefer the Devil's Chord. For me personally, Space Babies I preferred. Make sure in the comments to comment down below what you thought of this episode. Give it a little rating as well. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to give it a like and subscribe if you're new to the channel. And look out for tomorrow's review of Boom. So I'll see you in the next one. I'm the Who Guy. Bye.